Stop lying to yourself. You aren't in control. The responsibility you think you're carrying is just a disguise for your fear of letting go. And until you realize it, you will never be free. Stop trying to control everything. The irony is, the harder you grip the steering wheel of your life, the faster everything seems to slip through your fingers. And what if I told you that the very things you are fighting are the things that keep growing? You were never born to live in a state of constant exhaustion under the crushing weight of your own self-criticism. There is another way, a path where you finally put down the heavy burdens, rediscover your true essence, and attract the peace, clarity, and abundance you've been chasing for years. Today, I am going to show you how to do exactly that. Real, lasting change starts the moment you decide to focus entirely on yourself. What I'm about to share with you at A Patient Mind could fundamentally shift the way you live, think, and feel. Stay with me until the end, because this might be the exact message you've been needing to hear. Imagine, just for a moment, that you didn't have to run so fast. Imagine stopping the frantic need to have all the answers or to keep every single situation under total control. Imagine being able to simply breathe and trust. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? I understand. We live in an era where rest is treated like a crime and slowing down is seen as a luxury for the few. But it shouldn't be this way. The truth is that this constant battle to keep everything in line, this endless need to adapt and please everyone, has stripped you of yourself. You feel it, don't you? Deep down, there is a fatigue that sleep cannot touch, a lingering anxiety that no distraction can silence, and a heavy sense that you are constantly owing something to yourself, to others, to life itself. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists," and you have been fighting for far too long, rather than pausing to listen to your soul. But what if the answer isn't resistance, but trust? Trust that there is an order beyond your will, a timing beyond the clock, and a meaning that only reveals itself when you surrender. When you let go of the need for control, the fear of losing something transforms into the freedom of simply being. This isn't giving up. This is giving yourself permission to let life flow more truthfully and easily. Often, the problem isn't what you want. It's the pressure you put on the desire, the demands, the urgency, the fear that if it doesn't happen right now, it will never happen at all. This energy of scarcity only pushes away what you long for most, wishing with calm, walking with trust, and living with ease. That is the key. Because when you release your grip, your unconscious mind begins to work for you. When you trust, doors open where there were once only walls. Jung believed that what we do not bring into consciousness will eventually rule our lives. How many times have you been controlled by reactions, impulses, and fears without understanding why? This is where deep psychology meets your daily life. It is not just a theory, it is a living practice that begins the moment you decide to truly listen to yourself. Today I want to share 7 rules with you. These aren't ordinary rules you write down and forget. These are profound principles taken from the transformative core of Jungian psychology, adapted for your life, your now. They don't ask you to change everything overnight, but to start with what is essential, you. Because when you focus on yourself, everything else begins to fall into place almost on its own. The first rule carries a silent revolution. Listen to the silence within. In a world that screams, finding silence is an act of courage. Amidst the noise, the notifications, the demands, the constant comparisons, you've conditioned yourself to live on autopilot, failing to realize you've stopped listening to the only voice that actually matters, your own. Silence is presence. It isn't just the absence of noise, it is the space where you connect with your truth. It separates what is genuinely yours from what was imposed upon you. Think of your mind as a turbulent lake. As long as the waves are crashing, you can't see the bottom. But when the water calms, everything becomes clear. Silence organizes your thoughts, reveals hidden emotions, and restores your orientation. It's like a garden. You must prepare the soil and pull the weeds. Start with 5 minutes a day. In time, you'll feel this silence giving you the answers you've been searching for. Silence is not just peace, it is power. It shows you what is real, what is yours, and what is worth your energy. The second rule is equally powerful. Transform pain into learning. Pain is inevitable. Losses, disappointments, and mistakes are part of life. But what you do with that pain determines whether you break or whether you grow. Fleeing from pain only prolongs the suffering, and denying it only deepens the emptiness. But facing it with courage changes everything. Every wound carries a message. Pain isn't a punishment. It is an invitation to maturity and wholeness. Have you noticed that you've grown the most after the most difficult moments? Loss teaches you to appreciate. Rejection strengthens your self-worth. Failure builds resilience. Change the question. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That is the turning point. When you transform pain into learning, you stop being a victim and become the architect of your own growth. The third rule is, simplicity is power. We live in a world of excess. Too much information, too many options, too much pressure. The more we accumulate, obligations, tasks, thoughts, the further we drift from our core. Jung argued that complexity is not intelligence, it is confusion. True strength lies in choosing the essential and eliminating the distractions that drain you. When you simplify, you breathe better, you think clearer, you create space for the new, the true, and the meaningful. Everything starts with one question: is this essential for me? If the answer is no, you know what to do. These first 3 rules are the start of an inner revolution. They connect you back to your deepest core. But the journey continues. The next rules will show you how to reclaim your energy, how to say no with courage, and how to stop hiding parts of yourself from your own awareness. The fourth rule is perhaps the most challenging, but the most liberating. Say no to protect your yes. Most people say yes constantly out of fear of conflict or a desire for approval. But every time you say yes to something that contradicts your heart, you are saying no to yourself. How often have you agreed to a responsibility, a conversation, or an environment that drained your soul? Carl Jung noted that the meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But for that transformation to be positive, you need integrity. Integrity begins with boundaries. Saying no is an act of deep self-respect. It isn't about rejecting others, it is about choosing not to reject yourself. It is a declaration that your energy, your time, and your focus are precious. The 5th rule is an inner dive. Bring light into your shadow. Everyone carries a shadow. The parts of ourselves we hide, the insecurities, the anger, the suppressed desires. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Do you recognize those exaggerated reactions or moments of self-sabotage? They come from the shadow. Ignoring them only gives them more control. Bringing light into the shadow is like stepping into a dark room with a flashlight. At first, it is startling. You see things you'd rather not look at. But slowly, you realize that what seemed like a monster was just a misunderstood part of your history. When you meet your shadow with courage, you become whole. You stop fighting yourself and start using that hidden energy to build, create, and empathize. The 6th rule is, bring stagnant energy into motion. Nothing in life remains healthy when it stands still, including you. Emotions, thoughts, and feelings must flow. When you hold back or procrastinate, you create stagnation, that unexplained tiredness or lethargy. Moving energy doesn't just mean physical exercise, it means freeing your emotions, speaking your truth, or making that long overdue decision. Any conscious action breaks the stagnation. When you start moving internally and externally, life responds, vitality returns, your intuition sharpens, and your mind clears. Finally, the seventh rule: trust the timing of things. We live in a culture that demands everything yesterday, but life has a wisdom that knows no rush. Jung spoke of the process of individuation, the path to becoming who you are. This path has no shortcuts. It requires maturation and patience. Sometimes you sow seeds and nothing seems to happen, but life has its cycles. What looks like a delay is often preparation. Trust that what is meant for you will come, not because you exhausted yourself, but because you aligned yourself with your true essence and allowed life to follow its own rhythm. These 7 rules are not magic spells. They are invitations to leave the autopilot behind and take the lead of your own life at a patient mind. Listening to the silence, learning from pain, simplifying the excess, saying no, facing the shadow, moving your energy, and trusting time, each one practiced consciously, brings you closer to your true self. When you find yourself, everything else settles around you. If these words touched your heart, I invite you to join this wave of transformation. Like this video and comment below. I trust the timing of things and I choose to focus on myself. That will be your powerful affirmation of presence. As you start to implement these rules, you will feel a shift. It isn't a change that screams, it's a change that whispers, slowly creeping into your thoughts and rhythms. You will begin to realize that life never wanted you to be perfect or to have all the answers. Life only wanted you to be present, connected, and in harmony with what is true within you. And that is where the magic begins. Stop living from the outside in. Start living from the inside out. Stop comparing yourself to others because your path is unique. Stop overwhelming yourself because you recognize that you are already enough. When you align your inner world, the outer world begins to reflect that order. Your relationships improve because you become more authentic. Your habits change because you respect your own rhythm. You become a magnet for what is in alignment with your true energy. This isn't superficial self-help. It's alignment. It's the courageous act of choosing to go within, even when the world pulls you outward. You don't need to be repaired. You need to be understood. You have a wise, whole, and strong space within you, even if you've forgotten it in the noise of the world. That space is waiting. The journey of transformation begins with this intimate, quiet, yet powerful decision. I choose to focus on myself. This isn't selfishness, it's responsibility. When you heal, your family heals, your environment responds, and the universe answers to the true vibration you project. Take this step today. Leave behind the expectations and burdens that no longer serve you. You don't have to carry the world on your shoulders. You only need to carry your own truth. You are closer to the life you deserve than you think. Keep walking with awareness, trust, and compassion. In the end, everything you need is already inside you. You just need to remember. You just need to trust. You just need to focus on yourself. Until the next video.